Yay, a very good morning to you, the 7th of October, the year 2022. A happy Friday morning to you. Where is it that you're watching us from? Please keep in touch and be part of the conversations where we are live right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and even on Instagram. What better way to usher in your weekend, rather than stay here with us with the Simba Charles Kiage. We have so much lined up for you, including DJ Bonai on the ones and twos. I'm yet to find, Simba's favorite song. So just, we could cue it on the playlist, but he's going to be coming in shortly to actually then tell me if he does have a favorite song, and I hope it's not reggae. But of course, he'll be joining me shortly. Also, Look Up Business is lined up this morning, 11 to 12 p.m., and I'm very sure that you're anticipating to actually understand what is going on in the world of business. Great conversations lined up for you. And as always, on Friday, we have all the good vibes coming your way. We have an amazing artist, Kenyan homegrown artist, coming in to just grace the studios, share his life story. Apparently, he has one video out, several audios also out, and you want to ask yourself what challenges he's probably going through. Why just one video out, right? Now, let's talk at Look Up TV. We'll also be looking at the newspaper review. I can't wait to actually tell you what's going on the Daily Nation, especially after the fracas or chaos, you'd like to call it, that were witnessed in the Parliament or the National Assembly yesterday. It was quite a tough one for the National Assembly Speaker, Wetangula, until he finally gave his, ruled that Kenya Kwanza was majority, and there we go. We had Azimio saying that wasn't in order. So that is lined up for you shortly. I just want to introduce to you on set this morning, Simba Charles Kiage. It's really good to see you. I needed to know what your favorite song is, and I'm hoping it's not the reggae you were listening to the other day.
We've got a lot of them. Local, yeah?
Okay.
Has to be Sauti Soul, Better Days.
Ooh.
That one. It's an anthem. I don't know whether DJ Bonner would have it today. Ankey, whatever it is, better days are coming. Whatever it is that we're going through as Kenyans, whatever it is that the government is talking about with oil prices, inflation 9.2%, COVID-19 is affecting us. Our business is also getting affected by this economy. Guess what? Better days are on the way. That one, it blesses my soul every morning. Since we're talking about since we're talking about Friday, let me tell you what we have outlined. By the way, Ankey, can't we clear the week like this? On Look at Business, we asked one question: GMO. Then we said, how can we have that proper conversation? We said the good and the bad. I can't wait for that conversation all the way from 11 today to 12 noon on Look at Business. Much more to look forward to in that conversation. We're going to speak with concerned parties as far as this conversation on a GMO is concerned. And by the way, Ankey, the positions for permanent secretaries have been then advertised. You and I can apply and go for interviews. We do have 447 people have already applied for those positions. So hopefully you'll be among those who are going to apply and be counted in Ruto's government as well. You have a chance.
Simba, speaking of positions, have you heard the contention around the CAS?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people really, I want to hear the opinion of the viewer this morning. What is your perspective of the CAS position? Most people saying they pretty much don't understand it's going to be heavier on the taxpayer. What are your thoughts on that particular, office? And do you think then it is necessary, even in the new regime, to actually have that? We'll also be looking at the, the fights, in Parliament. The 13th Parliament is really young, Simba. They just got in. We're just trying to figure out who's the majority here, and then boom, we have fracas already, we have chaos in there already, and this is not what we anticipated for this new Parliament yet. This is the foot we have begun with. Also, we get to look at that. I'm seeing some really interesting headlines, including bad days for graft suspects, which I'm glad. There should be bad days for graft suspects, among other things. But we'll also be seeing Safaricom is setting up a shop in Ethiopia in regional expansion. Tell you what, on my way here, journalists, we can be very interesting. So I was listening to radio And there is this amazing presenter. Of course, a great shout out to him. I will not mention him. But he said they're going to have to, learn. Is it American?
The languages, huh?
Yeah, in Ethiopia, because then you're imagining, wale, the fraudsters who usually call you and say, nimetuma pesa fulani hapo, could you send it back? So all those who are in those particular prisons, or them fraudsters, would have to learn.
But funny enough, Ankey, the details of that story are actually going to come your way on a look at business.
Okay.
Here's what, they've not still got the money license. They're still pushing for the money license. But even if you look at even the guys that they've employed to work for Safaricom, they already have 650 employees to push in, and there's a very good number already, 200,000 subscribers into Safaricom Ethiopia. Quite a good feat. They've been there for 1 year, and now they're fighting then to have a presence in 25 cities across Ethiopia, because that is exactly what the license needs them to have. They'll be spending 300 million shillings each month to meet that.
And there we go, what it means to actually invest for outcome. And I'm sure companies watching this morning are challenged, really. I mean, Safaricom makes a lot of effort and investments. Let's not talk about much more, Simba. We come back with the newspapers. I cannot wait to share what exactly is making headlines this morning. You are watching The Morning Drift. We'll be right back with even more hotter headlines. Welcome back. This is The Morning Drift, and we are just going to be crossing over to the dailies this morning. Grab a copy for yourself. Let's find out what is taking center stage on the newspaper. And of course, I'm holding Daily Nation. Simba, I am very confident that the Standard is equally very interesting this morning. But if I start us off, members of parliament fight as Wetangula rules. Kenya Kwanza has majority. If I read further, Raila's Azimio side protests at a ruling by the National Assembly Speaker that William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza is the majority party in parliament with 179 members of parliament against Azimio's 157, forcing adjournment of proceedings and vowing to take the battle to the courts. Interesting. In contest is the allegiance of members of parliament who defected. Simba, I'm not going to go into other details. Let's see if you have this same headline somewhere in the Standard, because this is really, more detailed on page 7, but it is taking center stage on the headline today.
That's how it is. If you look at what the Standard are headlining, they've said Wetangula's decision that UDA is the majority party has paved the way for the president's party to nominate members to key committees, among them the one that will vet cabinet secretaries. You see the thing, that's how it is. That's exactly why they were fighting for these positions, Ankey, because now if you declare the majority, then you're going to run a house business. Because now with this ruling, with this decision, and not even a ruling, by the way, with this decision by National House Speaker Moses Wetangula, then they would have the chair of Budget Appropriation Committee, they would have the chair Transport and Infrastructure Committee, they would have the head of Finance Committee, they would have the chair of Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee, they would have the chair Education Committee, they would have the chair Health Committee, they would have the chair Water Committee, which are the biggest committees then in the National House when you look at it, meaning that the various positions that are going to go to the Azimio side, they're going to be quite small compared to what the majority side is going to get. And by the way, what paved for the protest that we saw is when Wetangula said there is no going to be a debate once I make that decision, and that was fine.
He took a while anyway. He took a while to actually make that decision. He knew why he took a while, and that's why he actually said it would be final, what then he brings out as a decision. But you do realize that there are other, arguments around this particular decision, saying Azimio coalition really, as far as parties are concerned, might not really stand out to argue that they are, they are the majority in the House. You want to read more on that particular concept. But if I read further in the crucial House committee now, at a glance, the HBC has the mandate to constitute the committee on appointment that has Speaker as the chair, Deputy Speaker, of course, Simba, you've mentioned some of those, majority and minority leaders and their deputies, Majority Whip, and Minority Whip and their deputies and other members seconded by parties with regard to their relative strength in the House. Now, the COA has the mandate to vet the 22, like you said, Simba, also highlighted in the Standard, nominees that President William Ruto officially transmitted to the House yesterday. Now, of course, you want to read that, and I can see here, therefore, on the front page, crime, where they're talking about bad day for graft suspects. Now, a number of names here, Simba, if you allow me. I'm seeing John Waluhe, who is a Sirisia Member of Parliament, risks losing his seat as court upholds his jailing for 67 years in May's scandal. Another name featuring here is Amos Kimunya. High Court reversed his acquittal in a 60 million shillings corruption case related to land transactions. Also, we have Davy Koech, who is former Kemri director, lost bid to quash his conviction in the 19 million shillings graft case and faces 6 years in jail. Grace Wakungu, she started the remainder of her 69-year prison term over the maize scandal yesterday.
Yes, Ankey, just to add on to that, because I'm also looking at the same story here on the Standard. Both of them, that is Wakungu and Sirisia, isn't it?
Yes.
They were ordered to pay 500,000 each since that maize scandal, the National Cereals and Produce Board, since the board lost 297 million shillings, yeah? So now the judge did ask them, if you can't raise the 500 million shillings each as punishment, then go back in and start serving your sentence. Now you can imagine, Sirisia is specifically was ordered to pay 1 billion shillings fine, yeah?
Yes.
Or face 67 years in jail.
Yes.
Ankey, 1 billion. 1 billion is a million of bulbs. That's what it is. Even if you call for fundraiser for people to come in and help you, they have a hard task at raising this 1 million. And you know, the court doesn't give you like a payment plan. It tells you, give it to us now, or if you don't have it, go back in. What do you think? Is that the end of him?
Would there be any other way?
No.
Would there be any other thing to say? Seems to me like it's pretty much the end.
Unless
However, he has big friends.
You see, the thing is, this is a failed appeal.
It is?
Yeah, it's a failed appeal. Remember, this decision comes on the back of a failed appeal.
True. So
it's nothing like he's going to appeal again. But you can appeal as many times as you want. But in the meantime, go back to jail. And by the way, she's what, 69 years old? Grace Wakungu, isn't it?
Yeah, Grace Wakungu.
That's it, 69 years old.
Simba, however, even as we're looking at, the bad days for this particular graft suspect, we're also seeing here Haji has protested as 5 Kiambu officials are let off the graft hook. We'll also be looking at what has been happening, of course, with Kinoti. There have been a few developments on that, but so far on this, as far as the graft cases are concerned, on page 7 of the Daily Nation, we're seeing some 5 Kiambu officials have been let off the graft hook. You want to understand why and which names you're actually looking at, and of course, 558 million value of tender in Kenyan shillings that is said to have been irregularly awarded to Mr. Waititu's firm, seemingly just
has been taken off, isn't it? So meaning that Waititu now has been cleared. Then he can run for government office.
Wow.
Yeah, he can run for government office because he didn't have an active case. Ngoja tu tumuona hapa nje akisema bwana kesi imeisha sasa wacha to prepare for 2027. Governor Waititu fungua gate bwana. Anyway.
Simba, I like that. But of course, let's just look at one more thing on matters health, taking center stage on the Daily Nation, because really, now I know there's the fear of Ebola. The number of cases rising in Uganda, those are our nearest neighbors, so there's that concern. But of course, we know that our health ministry is on the same. But the WHO issues global warning of 4, quote-unquote, killer cough syrups.
Yeah, and snail could be offered as a solution. Anyway, we leave it there. I'll be telling you how, Ankey. They said snail could also be offered as a remedy to cough, But anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Once we come back, Ankey Dorice and I will be taking you straight to whatever it is that you're talking about online. I know it's full of Arsenal and Jesus
Simba,
and
is it?
Kiage and Europa League, and now Arsenal will even win the World Cup. Fine.
Simba, you're being biased.
No, I totally understand. Once we come back, please, you can join us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba Ankey.
And I am at Dorice Ankey. Don't go too far away. Use the hashtag The Morning Drift. We'll be right back with What's Trending. Welcome back. Thank you very much for choosing to stay with us. We are hoping your energy is just as right as ours in studio. Remember, we are ushering in a weekend. What better way to start your day than to know what exactly is going on around social media and the updates on the stories making headlines. Now, Simba, usually we run to Twitter, and I like how you started it off. It's a Friday. So what's going on with the Arsenal, really, Simba? I feel like you guys at Arsenal muna shout sana. I feel like you're all shouting. Let me put it. And you should let Manchester United rest.
Okay, no. Let me just put it into perspective on how good we've been. Ankey, there's something called pre-season, yeah? Where you gotta play almost 7 games. We did play 6 games, yeah, in pre-season. We won everything.
Everything?
Everything. Every little thing. We took 18 points out of 18 points. That's as you prep for the season. We played bigger teams in that running, okay? It was a team we beat called Chelsea. It's a big team, they think they're big. Now, we started the league, yeah? We played 8 games. Now, Ankey, listen, out of those 8 games, we've only lost 1. We currently have 21 points. We're in position 1 in the league. All right. Then we started playing Europa League, you know? Europa League is the league that you play with other Europe clubs. Now, in that particular table, Ankey, we are number 1. And not by chance, like we lost a game or anything. We played 2 games. We have 6 points on that table as well. So I'm looking, I'm like, when was the last time Arsenal lost a game? I don't remember. It's been winning now is like breathing for Arsenal. That's how good we are. I know they're Man United. Listen, I know they're Man United fans, and I would like to give a big shout out to our big reporters here at Look Up TV.
Exactly.
Henry Tender is a big Man United fan. Here's the thing. Every time you see an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal supporter walking next to you, please, stand aside, stop talking, let that royalty, I'm talking about the Arsenal fans, let them pass.
Is it?
Because whatever is going on at Arsenal has never been seen
What's the secret?
Any football.
What's the secret, Simba? So let's now learn from Arsenal. Now that you're a great ambassador.
Yes.
What is the secret, really? And all the football fans watching this morning, now let's just go to comment section. Let's fry this guy.
Here's the thing.
Why? Just let us know, because the last time I checked as a young girl, everyone said you date an Arsenal fan because they're loyal whether they lose, because you're always losing.
That's the secret.
So what has Arsenal done differently?
That's the secret.
Did you change your management?
Let me tell you. No, yes, we did.
Okay.
But then, for us, we said, let's find what we can play. We're going to play, for lack of a better word, attractive. In football, we call it sexy football. The touch is brilliant. The system, brilliant. Even when somebody's not a football fan, they watch an Arsenal game, they become football fans.
Nope.
Just because of the way we pass the ball.
Nope.
We don't hold to the ball. Our turns are beautiful. And then we say, pick a manager that you can stick with through death and, what is it called? Through death and? What is that? What's
is that the vow in the marriage?
Through death and whatever it is.
Till death do ours part.
That's the one. Stick with it.
You don't even know it.
Ask that manager, what do you need? We give the manager that. And the thing about Arsenal right now, by the way, we are playing Liverpool this weekend, and Liverpool is going to get beaten 3-2 at the Emirates. That's a final prediction from me, the official spokesperson for Arsenal Kenya.
All right. Do I take away from everything else?
I know Henry Tender is going to kill me.
You know, I'm going to breathe, but let me just say, Kaitani, I need you on the show, and I hope you're having a lovely weekend. A great shout out to you as well. And I am going to stand with Manchester United.
Oh my God! Listen, that's embarrassing.
There has to be two sides of this in one show.
Don't say that name.
I am Manchester United, Simba. We're going to stay loyal to the Red Devils.
Oh my God.
However, can we cross over to other things?
See, even the word, you support a devil. A devil?
Simba, something is happening with the Public Service Commission.
Yeah?
Do you want to hear more about it?
That's it.
It's trending.
That's it. Anyway, a lot of positions are being floated right now.
Yes.
Here's the thing, the interviews are going to happen, yeah, but that's what we do know. The PSs are going to get replaced in Ruto's government.
Yes.
And so you can apply. By the way, if you look at the positions that, if you look at the number of people that applied for those positions, so far there are 49 positions, isn't it? But then 447 applications against 49
yes.
Positions. Shows you how there's a lot of, what? Is it, can that show you how majority of people in Kenya
are you going to say
unemployed?
Wow, even on this one, yeah, probably, yes.
Yeah.
You could say that as well, but you could also say that Kenyans are very ambitious.
Ambition is another thing. And you like to think, but here's the thing, a PS is a technocrat, essentially, in that particular area. You'll never find anybody.
They're experts.
Yeah, they're supposed to be experts because you're going to get interviewed by the Public Service Commission, isn't it? And they're going to look at your credentials. That's how it is. A CS doesn't have to be. I mean, if you ask me, there have been questions about whether Aisha Juma went to school or that is a, we leave it on the side.
Yeah, we leave it at that. But allow me to go back to...
has been there.
Can we go back? We need to go to what's happening on Twitter directly.
That's it. But here's the thing.
Yes.
A PS has to be within that particular industry that they're going to work for, because you're going to face interviews by the PSC. You can't go there and say, you know, minim to
watu. But of course, you have to have a specialization. You need to understand, get the craft. You know, you have mastered something. So that shows Kenyans are educated, they're confident, they're ambitious, and also unemployed. But I can see here, Daily Trends KE has just tweeted and said 2022 poll losers. That have been shortlisted for PS jobs by the Public Service Commission.
Hopefully.
Interesting names here. And that just caption, 2022 poll losers. And for me, I think, okay, they might have lost politically, but like we said, for the PS, they might have some other strengths that just make them qualify for those particular offices. So if you want to read more of those particular names, we just pick, you know, some other random tweets. But of course, we're seeing Kenyans responding to that, you know, particular directive or nominations right now. But the majority now are reacting to the Kinoti's name.
Yes, by the way.
Reappearing.
Yes, the DCI
in this particular
has been reappointed, isn't it?
The DPP.
Is it the DPP? The DPP?
Yes.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, yeah?
Yes.
Is now, Ankey, could you read that particular tweet?
Let me just get that. I'm getting just, you could, you know, give me some more time so that we get the accurate tweet right here.
Okay. What I do know is that, well, you see how, as a government, again, you have to really rearrange your departments, state departments, and the people who are going to run them if you really want to have a smooth government. And that's what I will give this to. That is President Ruto really trying to arrange his army, pointed to the direction that he wants. In that there's some positions indeed that you would need the people who, I would say, what to work for lack of a better word. Yeah? The DCI, the DPP, you know, even the state departments like the Ministry of Interior, and we did see some of those names that have been fronted. Now we do expect Kindiki is going to be in that particular one. So yes, indeed, there's some of those. So the DPP. But the question is, had he not resigned? Yeah.
Did he not resign earlier on, Simba?
In quotes.
Okay, yeah, okay, in quotes, but really, okay. Now what's going on is Kenyans don't see order. I'm going to pick that particular tweet saying ex-DCI boss Kinoti transfers from National Police Service Commission to Public Service Commission.
Yeah, that's
Therefore,
DCI.
he still remains in government.
That's it. That's DCI. Kinoti.
Yeah, that's DCI.
That's it, DCI, Kinoti. Yes, let's get that right. DPP versus DCI.
Yes,
so
that's clarified.
That's DCI.
Yes. Now, Lord Abraham Mutai, sorry, Simba, has also tweeted here saying the same thing, really. Former DCI boss George Kinoti moved to Public Service Commission. National Police Service says to be entitled to pay and personal privileges until retirement.
That's how it is.
Mtu ni kujitetea. Mimi sioni shida.
By the way, Ankey, that's what I was telling you. You got to read deeper into that. But I mean, I'm not a governance expert, but then there are those positions, because there's a bro, ni sawa, lengo njua, acha nikuweke tu hapa because hapo mahali uko, that's where my government plays, isn't it? So I just gotta get somebody who's gonna come in and give me my personal interests. Najua you're transitioning from the other side, but hapa ni kwangu, isn't it? But if you look at, just, sorry, take you back a bit again, Ankey. I'm just seeking your reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Chebukati's wife, okay?
Okay.
Among those shortlisted for permanent secretary jobs.
All right. You're seeking my reaction, Simba?
Yeah.
Get my reaction.
Is that it?
What, just because she's Chebukati's wife,
Yeah.
it's a story now?
Yeah, it's a big story.
She's a person.
What if she...
She is her own person.
Fine,
she is her
but-
own citizen.
Fine,
she
but-
is her own expert. She
fine.
has a background academically.
Ankey,
she has an
I was
ambition.
just telling you here the other day.
This is my reaction, Simba.
But, okay, Ankey, if I become governor for Nyamira County, but I'm going to be governor for Nyamira County in the next 3 years.
Just
is
3
it okay
years?
for me? Is it okay for me to appoint my wife as
Has anyone appointed anyone's
CEC,
wife?
as CEC health?
Is this the same story?
Could
Are you
be.
out of context?
No, I'm not.
Are you giving a direct example?
It looks as if it is.
No, it isn't. I know you're taking us back to something that made headlines over a few days ago.
Would it change your reaction if she gets the job?
Is she qualified for the job? If she is qualified, I'd have a problem with her being your wife or not. Let her get the job.
Yeah.
If she's qualified, she will deliver. Let
Yeah.
them have the job.
Ankey,
They have a name.
Here's the thing, I rest my case.
Thank you, Simba.
Ankey, I rest my case. I will look for you.
Please
And
look
if she
for
gets
me.
the job, then we look at the credentials, isn't it? And after that, I'll call you up until I told you.
Simba,
And I hope one of your relatives has applied for that job and they lose it to her when they're still better qualified.
lose or gain, the country must move forward. Let's forge forward. I want to trust that everyone who gets the office will deliver. But for now, Simba, I'll take a short breather. Still to come, the latest news updates. And I can tell you for sure, you want to catch up with what has been happening around the country. Simba Laja Charles Kiage, or I will take you through that shortly.
That's it.
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly one-year installments plan.
Hapa ndio nimefika nyumba ya boxing.
It had to be preordained.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Hapa kazi tu inaendelea kuwasaka na kuwatambua wale ambao wanafanya kazi extraordinary na zile kazi za kujituma.
Biashara yote unaambiangwa, as long as you have a plan, you can do it. Our service is about to pressure the customer.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni hapa kazi tu.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
Well, this is Look Up TV. Thank you very much for choosing to stay with us. We are glad you are watching. Let's cross over to the newsroom and take a look at the stories making headlines, much of which we expect will develop across the day. But of course, topping this morning, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke is set to serve a 67-year prison sentence following a dismissal of his appeal by the court. High Court Judge Esther Maina ruled that the prosecution proved the charges against Waluke beyond reasonable doubt. With the sentence being within the law, Member of Parliament Waluke was found guilty in the 313 million graft fraud case. Take a look.
The High Court slapped Sirisia Member of Parliament Waluke with a 67-year jail sentence if he fails to pay a 727 million fine. The verdict follows the prosecution proving the case against Waluke and fellow business lady Grace.
Leadership of the minority party.
The battle for the majority in the National Assembly has been settled following the ruling of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, that the Kenya Kwanza side has the majority members in the August House, while the Azimio is the minority.
The membership of the Kenya Kwanza coalition stands at 179 members, while the membership of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party stands at 157 members. This by implication indicates that the Kenya Kwanza coalition is the majority party, and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is the minority party in this house.
Speaker Moses Wetangula declared that Kenya Kwanza's Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah as the leader of majority, where he will be deputized by Owen Baya, who is the Member of Parliament for Kilifi North. The majority whip is Silvanus Osoro, will be deputized by Naomi Jilowako.
Leadership of the minority party.
On the minority side, Opiyo Wandayi is the leader of minority, will be deputized by Robert Mbui. Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed will be the minority whip.
All right, now we apologize for that, slight mistake there. We'll give you that story. It's coming up shortly on how the National Assembly turned out yesterday. However, just to take that story again on Waluke's graft case, of course, the Syrian Member of Parliament John Waluke is set to serve a 67-year prison sentence following dismissal of his appeal by the court. Now, here is the particular story on this development as far as the graft case is concerned. Take a look.
Slapped Sirisia Member of Parliament Waluke with a 67-year jail sentence if he fails to pay a 727 million fine. The verdict follows the prosecution proving the case against Waluke and fellow business lady Grace Wakungu. Waluke's sentencing follows the wake of the graft case that he is alleged to have defrauded the National Cereals and Produce Board 313 million. Waluke and Wakungu were accused of failing to supply 40,000 metric tons of maize to NCPB in 2004. Waluke had earlier on challenged his conviction, claiming it was based on an incorrect charge sheet and that critical witnesses failed to testify before the court.
Tumehusunika sana mambo ya Mheshimiwa John Waluke kwa kupelekwa yeye tena ndani, na tunasema yeye amesimama na sisi tangu tukiwa kwa chama cha Jubilee tukakuja kwa chama cha UDA. Tunaomba kwamba rais, wewe ni mtu unajua, wewe ni mtu mwenye unajua mambo ya Mungu, saidia huyu jamaa yako amekusaidia zaidi, alisimama na wewe, na tunakuomba kwamba yeye ndiye amekuwa chairman wa Jubilee mpaka akakuja kuwa chairman wa UDA party Bungoma County, na kuomba kwamba umsaidie.
Sirisia residents led by Bungoma leaders are calling out the court on the verdict and are pleading with the president to intervene.
Wangu binafsi naona ya kwamba itatuadhiri sana, itatuumiza kwa sababu yeye wakati amekuwa katika uongozi kuna zile sectors ambazo ameahidi kwamba atakamilisha, kama vile kutengeneza hii barabara from Mayanja to Sirisia, ilikuwa kwamba akamilisha.
Udeonda Lana, Look Up TV.
All right, welcome back. Now let's take a look at another very key development. Lawyer Paul Gisheru has been laid to rest at his home in Bahati, Nakuru County. Gisheru died last week at his current home under unclear circumstances, with the post-mortem not revealing a conclusive report. Gisheru was facing charges of bribery and intimidation of witnesses at the ICC.
Great action. You're loving, composed, and courageous.
My love, how I wish you could wake up. Loving husband to me and our children. I still can't believe that you're gone. It was so soon.
Paul has made a contribution to the Kenyan development. A united family where the husband, the father, shows openly that he loves the family.
Now to a major trumpeted headline after the government lifted the ban on GMO last week. Different non-governmental organizations have come out to oppose the move, saying there was no public participation. Kiage And Ankey tells us more on this reaction.
Force us to consume what you want us to consume. You cannot create a scenario where maybe there'll be artificial lack of food so that we can fall in love with your GMOs. No, we have a right to choose.
Lifting of the ban of GMO has continued to bring about different reactions from Kenyans, with non-governmental organizations saying that 57% of Kenyans were not in agreement with President Ruto's move to lift the ban and allow importation of planting of genetically modified seeds and animal feeds.
A survey conducted by Root to Food Initiative in December 2021 showed that a majority of Kenyans, and that is 57% of Kenyans, are not willing to consume GMOs. The lifting of the ban, therefore, goes against the will of the Kenyan people and goes against their human right to food. What was the rush to lift the ban on GMOs even before such a basic safeguards are in place?
The National Coordinator of Biodiversity and Biosafety Association Kenya, Ann Maina, says that there was no public participation that happened.
The lack of public participation. The rash decision to lift the ban on the importation of GMOs into the country lacked public participation. No public consultations were done, and the views of the public were not considered in the decision to lift the ban, which essentially curtails the freedom of Kenyans to choose what they want to eat or not.
This is not a fair market for our farmers. Our neighbors, Uganda and Tanzania, will also not favorably compete with the US-based farmers. And we are just wondering whether this is the bottom-up approach that we were promised.
They have also noted that the government organizations have been at the forefront, spreading misinformation. Their call now is to have the GMO dismissed.
That the government institutions entrusted by the people to protect them and act in their interest would propagate misinformation about the intention and the attributes of GMOs. Some of the misinformation peddled by government institutions about GMOs include the following, and I will list them briefly. 1, that the BT maize is early maturing.
The introduction of the GMO has continued to bring about mixed reaction. Some of the stakeholders citing that they were not involved by the government in the passing of the bill. Then, what next? Kiage And Ankey, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
All right, now, besides that, let's take a look at the international relations. And President William Ruto arrived in Ethiopia on Thursday to attend the ongoing peace talks in the country. The president will also preside over the official launch of Safaricom Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. Take a look.
About our conflict in the northern part.
All right, that's it for the news updates this morning. Expect developments of each of those or most of them later on in our subsequent bulletins at 1 p.m. 4 p.m. for the trending news, at 6:30 p.m. in Swahili, and at the top of the hour at 8 p.m. Also on social media at Look Up TV across all social media platforms. Now, it is Friday, and as we do on the Morning Drift, there's always someone on the ones and twos to give you that weekend vibe. DJ Bonai is in studio. Mambo, DJ. Mm-hmm. All right, so of course, the DJ, it's been a long week, yeah? Songs zimetokea, a few things here and there in the entertainment industry. Bring us up to speed, Kiage, and then you can get into the music, yeah? Yeah. All right. Oh, sawa sawa. So, of course, DJ Bonai has promised me that the playlist is not his but yours. So I'm going to open the social media platforms again for you. Send in your requests, as many as you can. It's Friday. Sherehe inaanzia hapa Look Up TV. I can tell you for sure, anakuangana some really dope playlist, right? So, of course, DJ, if you just scratch a little bit, if we can hear you, watajua uko ndani, yeah? But, of course, we'll be looking forward to an amazing mix this morning. Remember, it is the 7th of October, the year 2022. So it's just 1 week into October, all right? How is the rest of your October going to look like? What is your plan for the weekend? What constructive thing are you doing on social media as well? But not forgetting to appreciate the Kenyan artist in a special way. We'll be having one in studio this morning, anaitwa Obi. All right, he has one video out, and I think he's a really dope artist. So let's celebrate all the artists this morning. So I'm gonna go back to DJ Bonai. I know the DJ speaks more musically, so I want him to take away, you know, this particular show and bring your homes down with the fire on the ones and twos. This is the Morning Drift. DJ Bonai, take it away.